Well, thank you all so much for coming. It's lovely, as always, to see lots of people in the shop. And it's wonderful to welcome Stevie.
Stevie's down here.
There.
You may or may not see him. He's the dog, if you don't know who's the
Yes, you can see
it's a dog.
Yeah, his tail is... Oh, no, he hasn't. It's not up there. And also, obviously, Lou and Gareth, thank you so much for coming. Those of you who have been to one of our conversations with authors know that we kind of leave it up to them to have a little chat. And true to form, that's exactly what we're going to do today. But before we do that, we're going to have a little game of Yeah, Nah. So, would you like to stand up and grab your paddles?
Aye.
And I will ask you...
This is where you get to know us quite intimately.
Yes, depending on the questions.
Yes.
Right. So, we ummed and ahed about the questions to ask you, and then we came up with some really cool ones, we hope. So, everybody knows how to play Yeah Nah. The first question is... Does your partner know the capital of Albania? Does anybody else know the capital of Albania? Yes?
Tirana.
Wow.
Just what? Such a show. That's a bit of scene.
Yeah.
Next question. Could your partner win an episode of The Chase? Question 3. Does your partner make your coffee just as you like it? Oh no! Could your partner land a plane in an emergency? Nice one. And the last question. Would your partner help you hide a body?
Not that we've done it. They're really good questions.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
I love this game.
Me too.
Can I fly a plane? Land a plane?
Nah. Can't drive a car.
Let's not go there.
Or
So
stuck in the dishwasher.
we leave it to you, and obviously if anyone has any questions throughout, just feel free to yell and they will answer them.
Thank you.
Off you go.
Thank you, lovely Mary, and thank you, Zach and Aloy and everybody at Schrödinger's Books. It's lovely to be here in this beautiful environment, and thanks so much. You know, it's so nice to see, like, we don't mind if it's 2 faces, but lots of faces is amazing. It's this massive compliment to us.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, so thank you.
So we will do questions at the end, but if you have a burning question on
yell
something
it.
that we say, just put your hand up and yell it out.
Yeah. And actually on the Yeah Now thing, we were in Palmerston North, I don't know when that was, last week or something, and the most controversial question was, does your partner stack the dishwasher correctly? And it's like, we're still arguing about it now. How dare you? So I don't know if anyone's read it yet. Just, lovely. Oh, that's lovely. Thank you very much. But if you haven't read it, this is our book that we have written together, and it's based in a bookshop in Havelock North called Sherlock Tomes. It might be slightly based on a bookshop that we own called Wardini Books, and there are 2 high-stake things going on. These Gareth and Eloise, that may be slightly based on Gareth and Louise, are having to launch a book. Like, one of the biggest superstar authors in the world wants to launch her book at their tiny wee shop in Havelock North, New Zealand, and they can't understand why, and it's very stressful. And at the same time as that, someone's left a mystery package on the doorstep of the shop saying you must investigate the disappearance of Tracy Jarvis, who's a missing schoolgirl from years before, so a cold case. So that's the premise of our book. And then you're all booky people because you're here in this beautiful environment, so there's lots of booky stuff in there for you guys. Yeah. So we sort of just have a little chat, don't we? Interrogate each other.
Yeah. So, but I'll perhaps just start with how we came about to write this book. So I've written a few novels before, and every New Year's Day, we sit down together and say, what do we want to do this year? You know, what do we want to achieve or knock off the bucket list or whatever. And so in the New Year's Day of 2023, I said we should write a book together, and we thought, what do we know about? And it was book selling, and being coppers, because we're both ex-coppers from the UK. That's how we met. We met at police training college. And
Sounds like you're farting.
I am.
It's a ruse.
Like
Yeah.
a dog.
Yeah.
Stevie.
No, you'd know if it was a dog. You really would. Yeah, so we decided we were, we obviously, because we own a bookshop, we knew that books set in bookshops are generally quite popular, so it was a good idea. And we do know about policing, not in New Zealand, but it was more, we know the sort of the emotional context of policing, so we thought we'd give it a go. And that's how it started.
Yeah, that's how the book started. So what made you think that I could write a book, write a novel?
Well, I think you write a lot of book reviews for the shop, and you are an English literature graduate, PhD.
Oh, this is a good story. So it's been amazing that we've had all this feedback from all over the world, and there was this lady who's a vlogger, I suppose, in Australia, and she sent us an email saying, loved your book, I've just done a YouTube review of it, and there's this gorgeous lady just talking about the wind that they've been having in Australia for a bit, and then she holds our book up and she's talking about it, and she's all enthusiastic about it, and she said, and the woman, I think, she's got a PhD in English literature. And I'm like, yeah, I'll take that. I do not have a PhD in English literature.
There were quite a few facts that were wrong, but she was very enthusiastic about it, so that was good.
So that's great. So
Yeah.
I've been highly elevated by that.
Yeah, so I know you can write, so I just thought it would be a fun thing to do together. And it was great.
Yeah, that's cool. And how different has it been? Because writing's quite solitary, and you've written 6 novels already.
Yeah.
So how different has it been, the process-wise, working with me?
Well, it's been a lot more fun, because it is quite sort of solitary to write on your own, and I never really talk. My previous novels, Louise gets to read them at the end when they're done, but I never say anything about them because I want her to go in blind when she reads them. And so this one was much more fun because we were doing it together, and it was like you're writing a novel, but you're also reading one at the same time, because we plotted it all out beforehand. Louise with coloured pencil, I had an Excel spreadsheet. True, but we knew what the key plot points were in each chapter, but we hadn't necessarily said how those were going to be revealed. And we wrote chapter about, so I wrote Garth's chapters, Louise wrote Eloise's chapters. So when I got to read, Louise's chapters, I didn't know. I knew roughly how the plot was going to develop, but I didn't know how it was going to happen. So it's like you're reading a novel at the same time as you're writing it. So it was really great fun.
Yeah, and that's been quite interesting, actually, hasn't it? Just because you'll get that chapter, even though we live in the same house, we email them back and forth, for paper trail, and we'll read it and go, oh yeah, that's cool, and then start the next chapter, and well, I know we were supposed to set it in the cafe, but actually that's gone into the park in Hastings or whatever it is. Yeah. Did any of my switcheroos kind of irritate you?
No, I don't think so. I can't think of anything. Normally it's the other way around. Normally I'm the one that irritates you, I think.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
But the good thing about this was, because the characters they're not us, but they're probably 80% based on us. It was quite cathartic, because really Garth could just bitch about Eloise in his chapters and all the things that Eloise does that annoy him terrifically, and then Eloise could do the same with hers, so it was fantastic.
Yeah,
really.
and from that point of view it's been quite revealing as well, isn't it? Just like, really? Is that how you feel about that? Yeah, so that's been quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say something else now, I forgot what it was.
You had a bit of a blank.
Yeah.
Just while Gareth's gathering his thoughts there, I don't know if you know that Stevie the dog is behind us there, and he is a character in the book. He would have been in the first draft a much bigger character, but our editor cut a lot of Stevie out of the book, which is sad, eh? But if you've read it, you know there's still a lot of Stevie in the book. Yeah, so she was right. She was absolutely right. Yeah.
And we sort of totally mind our bookshop staff characters.
Yeah.
So in the book, the staff in the book are Amelia, Kitty, and Phyllis, and in real life, our staff are Amy, Kat, and Phil. So we sort of mind their personalities again, they're not totally them, but they're maybe 80% them. And we didn't tell them we were doing it. Partly because, when we started it, we didn't know, we had this idea, but we didn't know if it was going to be complete pants or if it was going to be any good. But by the time we'd finished it, we finished the first draft where people could read it, we actually thought, no, this could be a thing. So we sent them an email saying, look, come up to the house, we want to talk about something. And normally when we invite the staff up to the house, we have a staff meeting. I do my legendary vegan bolognese, and it's the staff from both our shops. But this one was just them. So we put in the email, it's nothing to worry about, but we just want you three to come up for this meeting. And obviously they did totally worry about it. Even though we said not, they actually set up a WhatsApp group to discuss what there might be going on. Even though we said, look, there really isn't anything to worry about, we couldn't stress that enough, but they still did that. So it was good, because then when we said we've written a book and you're in it, that was a lot less worried than all the things they'd come up with. So, they sort of rolled with it, and we said to them we would, we let them read it, and we said, you have got a veto. If there's anything you don't like, we will take it out. And there was only one thing. In one scene, the character of Kitty, I had her bursting into tears. And Kat said she'd never do that. She would. I've
never seen her cry.
Well, I think she would.
Amy cries all the time.
So we changed it to she broke a pencil, she got angry and broke a pencil. So that was it. That was the only change we made, really.
Yeah. So Amy, who Amelia is based on, does cry all the time. To the extent that now we know that if a picture book comes in, especially around Anzac Day, you can, Amy, read this, and then you just go like that. And she's in absolute floods, in a good way. It's it's nice.
Good way. Yes.
Yeah. But character-wise, we haven't actually mined real people, have we?
No.
It's been quite interesting because it is set in Havelock North and it's clearly based on us, and there are, the bookshop staff. It's been quite interesting to talk to people that have read it and gone, oh, well, I know who Franklin White is. And you're like, well, do you? Because he's completely made up. Yeah, so that's been quite interesting.
I know who this customer is, or I know who this other person is. And
so there's a lot of gossip happening in Havelock North around now.
So all the customers in the book are fictitious, although we've taken bits from various customers and put them to make a Gestalt customer, if you like. Because we love all our customers. Some we love in a very special way, but funny things do happen every day, and when we sent it to Penguin, one of the publishers said, oh, there's too many quirky people. And I go, no, this is just our life. This is totes real.
You find that though, most people we know are. We're wondering who the normal ones are, really, in the world. No, because nobody's normal, are they?
No. And we love all the, we genuinely love having conversations with all the people in the bookshop. Lots of people who've, started as customers have ended up being friends. I think all our staff have been recruited from our book club. So you just have great conversations, and you do meet interesting people. And it's set in Havelock North, and we really. Penguin were quite keen to have it in a fictitious sort of place, which would have made the writing a lot easier and possibly less possibility of litigation. But we love Havelock North, and we love Hawke's Bay, and we really wanted to try and sort of promote it in the book, and it's had a bit of a crap time with the Gabrielle and that, so we really wanted to keep it as Havelock, and fair play to Penguin, they let us do that. They wouldn't let us keep the name of our bookshop, because in the first draft it was Waldini Books.
I think that's worked out really well though.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and I'm finding as we're working on book 2 at the moment, and there's a draft done and we're just going through and editing it. There's a lot more freedom when you are making stuff up completely. Yeah. And
there is a bookshop in the book called Mary's Cat in Petone. We've got no idea where that came from. Yes.
Should probably fess up now that Mary and I go back a long way. So we met when you're a bit older than me, aren't you, Mary? I think maybe I was 18 and you were 19. We met at university in Wales. Of all places, and then lost touch for a while, and then got back in touch and found out that we were both living in New Zealand, which was amazing, eh? Like, we'll have a cup of coffee, see if we still like each other, and we're all right. Yes, that's been.
We do, but.
I didn't
count me in that.
He turned up, didn't he? Yeah. So policing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we should probably talk about the policing side of things, because that's where Gareth and I met a long time ago. And Mary actually came to our wedding, I think, didn't you? You came to our engagement party anyway. Oh, let's talk about that later. That was a disaster, that party. It was terrible. But anyway, yeah, so in the UK, you have constabularies or police forces, and I was in Nottinghamshire Constabulary, which is quite an old-fashioned term now. I'd be surprised if they're still using it. But Northampton were a bit more modern, and they were Northamptonshire Police. Mm-hmm. And then they have a Central District Training College, and that's where we met. Yeah. So, what attracted you?
I think it was a challenge, really. Louise was known as the Rottweiler among people at training college because she'd bite your head off in an instant. Hasn't changed much.
I think I have, haven't I? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did you get out of police? What were the little nuggets of things that have turned up in the book that you got from being a police officer?
I think we don't really know a great deal about policing in New Zealand, but the characters Gareth and Eloise aren't policing in New Zealand. They're ex-police from the UK, and we know quite a lot about that. And I suspect the emotional side of policing is very much the same. So the horrible things you have to deal with, the suspicious mind that you have as a copper, talking to people and trying to work out whether they're telling lies or not. That's probably cross-force, really, cross-country. So I think it was, we could put the emotional content in. We've dealt with dead bodies and murderers and all sorts of horrible things. So although this is cosy crime and we don't go into any of the gore of it, we do. We can put some of the emotional content in there, which I think you get to experience as a cop. And also some of we've put some of our genuine policing stories in there, as Gareth and Eloise's one.
Oh, hi.
Hello, Steve. How are you going?
Just turning around.
Just have a look.
Turning it. I want to sit on the mat.
So there's a story in the book that I love.
Where are the noms? Where's the cheese?
There we go. Good boy. So... when we were in the police in the UK, if there was a job that wasn't really worth doing, you would what they call cuff it.
Every job is worth doing.
They're not.
I think you'll find.
No. So you've got two neighbours arguing about that much land because someone's put a fence in. It's not really worth it. So you just go and say, I gave advice. You cuffed it. The advice was stop being so fucking stupid. But there was one copper that we worked with who, in the book, I've called Cuffer Wallace, but in real life he was called Cuffer Walker because it was like
no one will ever know.
No. So it was like six in the morning, like at the end of a night shift, and he was driving through a place in Northampton called Far Cotton, and so you drove up the road. There were all houses to the right. There was a golf course and some woods to the left, and there was a guy walking out of the woods with a spade. And so he thought, well, that's a bit unusual. I'll stop him. And he sort of wound down the window and said, what are you doing? And the guy goes, I've just buried my wife. Yeah, good one. And just drove off, and the guy had actually just buried his wife. So there's all sorts of... You get lots of weird and wonderful stories in the police, and we've fed some of the funnier ones, I guess, into the...
funny but grim.
Into the book. Yeah.
Yeah, and it does stay with you, eh? I'm just thinking, even today, I mean, I haven't been a police officer for many, many years, decades, really. And we were just driving in and going to stay with our friends who live in Silverstream, and just at one of the intersections there was a little kid, and she didn't look like she'd just come from school. It was about school kick-out time. Did you see her?
No.
And she had on a little backpack, but she had an hoodie on, and she looked like she was in her pyjamas. And to me it was like, oh my god, she's running away from home. She probably wasn't. She probably had been to a school that didn't have a uniform.
It's Wednesday day.
Oh, thank God! Thank you! But this happens to me all the time. I am quite an anxious person, and I'll see things like that and think, I'm going to see, I didn't stop, I didn't do anything about it, and I'm going to read in the newspaper tomorrow that child has run away from home. Yeah, but I think that is that training, and it stays with you forever.
Yeah. Well, slightly suspicious as well, probably. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think the crime here is a lot, well, certainly in the areas where we are, is a lot less than in the UK. But all the time, you'd be like, "What's that person doing there? Why are they doing that?" You know, it was just because that was what you spent doing 8 hours a day. You know, it just gets spread into you, really. Yeah.
But who are your favourite criminals? Because but some of them, almost you were on like. I know I was. You're on first name terms with them.
Yeah.
Because you lock them up so often for a start.
Yeah.
But they're not all, they're really not all bad people.
No, they might do some.
Very few of them are bad.
No, most of them aren't bad, really. They just do bad things, or they're in a lifestyle that they can't get away from. But some of them you do become first name terms with them. You're just like, get in the car, and they don't put up a fight or anything. They just get in, and stuff.
I've got a warrant. Get in. Yeah.
Can I just get the car? Yeah, of course you can. Go on.
Yeah. They might be out the back window and run off. If they want to.
Well, you generally knew the ones that would and wouldn't they?
Yeah. And there was one when I was a very young. I mean, I was 20 when I joined the police force, and Gareth doesn't think I'm a very good driver, but it's quite interesting that he lets me drive all the time. So if I was that bad, you wouldn't let me drive, would you? But when I was a baby copper, and you do your 2 years probation in the UK, and you're handheld for that period of time, aren't you? And you've got a mentor. And I had this amazing mentor. She was 5'0", Carol Tarleton Weatherall, her name was. And she was little and she was ginger and everyone was terrified of her. Do you remember? Yeah. And then when I was let off the leash, they just say, okay, you turn up on the shift the first day you're on your own, and they say, okay, foot patrol town centre, and you're like, what? And you are just told to go off and police, and you don't really know what to do you? But I remember just, I'd locked a guy up for, I don't know, shoplifting or something, and we were off, he's in the back of the car, and we're off back to the Nick, and I curbed the police car, the panic and buckled the wheel.
Not a very good driver, as I
On this occasion, no. And I'm like, damn it, I'm going to have to call it in. I don't know how to change a tyre. And he's like, I'll do it, love. I'll do it, mate. Don't worry about it. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh, thanks. I was like so relieved. Yeah. You got anything like that? Top that one.
Yeah, probably not.
Did you let it go?
No. He knew. And then in a court case, I was, occasionally you're called to court, aren't you, to give evidence. And the guy's in the stand, and I must have given my evidence. I don't know what way round it was, but I'm sitting there, and he's in the stand, and he's being questioned. And he's like, yeah. And then Louise came round and arrested me. Oh, sorry, PC, I was probably Martin then, my maiden name. Yeah, but because he'd used my first name, everyone was very suspicious then that like we were in on it together. But it wasn't that, it was because I'd nicked him so many times. Yeah.
Yeah, you did get friendly with some of them.
Yeah.
I did do some questions here, let me just check them, because we were going to ask some questions that we hadn't prepared for each other, have we? So
I think I've already given you a couple of curly ones,
okay.
Actually. Stevie?
Did you used to watch The Bill?
Yeah, we did. I used to watch The Bill, yeah. The Bill was actually...
That's going back a bit, eh?
It was probably quite realistic, actually, The Bill, really, I think. Although The Bill is set in the Metropolitan Police, and the Metropolitan Police are literally a law unto themselves, so they're not like any other police. Maybe Greater Manchester might be a bit similar, or West Mids, but the Met, they did have a lot of dodgy coppers in there, and I never saw any corruption or anything like that in the force that I'm in, but the Met were quite... I think they keep trying to improve them, but I think they are a bit dodged, to be honest.
Nottinghamshire could be a little bit old boys network. There were a lot of sort of Mason... if there's a Mason in the room, I apologise now, but they were promoted, it was who you knew sort of thing.
Yeah, police and the Masons did go very much together.
And there was one guy that was promoted to inspector, and no one could believe it because he really shouldn't have been. And the only dodgy thing I saw him do, which is quite dodgy, was he used that kind of Vulcan death grip on a prisoner in custody. Where you can do that and someone will pass out. But sometimes it's really dangerous. You can actually kill somebody by doing that. And I saw him do that. Nothing happened. But anyway, moving along.
All right, so here's my question for you. Obviously, you were very privileged to be writing your first novel with award-winning author Gareth Ward. What was the best part of that experience?
your experience, actually. You know, that's lovely. Because I'm like, great, right, you know, we got a publishing contract, which is just incredible, with Penguin Books, you know. And it was great. And like, right, now what happens? And so it was just having you to rely on. And it was also your generosity, really. Because you have written 6 novels before. And you never have sort of said, no, because I've written 6 novels before and it should be this way. You've never done that to me. And that's quite incredible. I must be really good.
Or very scary.
It's so not scary. How many questions are there then?
I've got many. If it was made into a film, who would play you?
Oh, we've talked about this. We've thought about this before, because you do. You know, it's a bit embarrassing, but who would play you in a film? And years ago, I used to get mistaken. Do you remember the band Texas? I used to get mistaken for Charlene Spiteri. Yeah, I had very short black hair when I was a young woman. But these days, a couple of people have said that I'm a passing resemblance to Vicky McClure. Yes. You know her out of
Line of
Duty? Yeah. I would be chuffed to bits if she played me, because she's well hard.
Do you think that would suit Hawke's Bay though?
No.
They actually need someone, a bit more middle-aged than
we had some quite exciting news last week. So Penguin are going to do it as an audio book, and they sent through 2 of the auditions for the people that are going to play, like Gareth
the audition tapes
Eloise on the audio book. And that was a really surreal experience, because the characters aren't us, but they're 80% us, and then so you've got this person reading your words. I've never had that before, reading the words that you've written, but also they're sort of being you, and it was just like mind equals blame, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah. I think they'll be really good. It'll be a good audio book, but it was really weird.
It was a very weird experience for us though.
Yeah. I didn't quite know what to do with it, to be honest, but anyway.
Who would play you, Gareth?
Who would play me? Well, I was thinking Clooney, but he's a bit old now, so I don't know. I've got no idea.
I think Graham McTavish would be great. Yeah. Also, we've met him.
Yeah. Maybe. Who do you think would play me?
I wouldn't like to say.
To be discussed later.
Peter Capaldi.
Peter Capaldi. Ooh.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah.
David Tennant.
David Tennant. He can come on set. That's fine.
Okay, here's a good one.
Oh God.
We've had emails from all over New Zealand and Australia from people telling us how much they love the book. Why do you think it's appealed so much?
I think because it's fun. There is, times are hard, things are strange. Did anyone watch that debate yesterday? So the world is the world's always been in a precarious position, but I think people come into a bookshop, don't they, and they say, I just want a nice book. I want it to have a good plot, I want it to have nice characters, and I want it to have something I can engage with and give me a bit of a giggle, and I think that's why people have liked it. The biggest compliment that I've found with people that have read the book that don't know us have said, I laughed out loud. I actually laughed. And that's great, just being able to make someone laugh, isn't it? Yeah. How about you? What's been the nicest thing? Someone said we were cute, and they went, maybe too cute. And I'm like, what? I am not cute.
I just think, just the fact that so many people have genuinely loved it, I think that's really, really positive and nice. Because you never know. You think you've done a good thing, but until it goes out to people like you don't know. But we genuinely have had massively positive feedback. It's been like, we are blown away. We just feel almost slightly embarrassed by how well it's going. We were the best-selling book in New Zealand out of anything, full stop, for 2 weeks in a row. And that's any book. and then we've been, what is it, the best-selling New Zealand fiction for like 7 weeks in a row or something, and we're just like, wow,
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's blown us away. So just how well it's gone, because I've had 6 books before and they've all been good and they've all done all right, but none of them have like had the feedback.
You've won awards and such.
I have won awards, but I've never had a room like this before when I've come to do talks. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it just hasn't really appealed to people. And I can't really put my finger on why. I think it is because it's funny. It's a good plot. It is a good crime story, but there's none of that horrible stuff in there really. That's all.
No one's
the
actually
page.
eviscerated on the page like in a Joe Lesbo novel.
Yeah, or like.
I mean, I'm there for that.
Like a scary crime. Yeah. So and I think people, do love bookshops.
Great cover.
Yeah, it has got a great cover.
Yeah, I think that's a contributing factor.
It's got a beautiful dog in it, so I think that's that counts for something. But I don't. I think if anyone, we had Penguin and Hachette were sort of in a very minor bidding war for it. But I don't think either of them. I think they both thought it would be a good book, but I don't think certainly I don't think they realised, and you can't tell it would do as well as it had. So I don't know. I think if people knew, they would bottle it and sell it, but sometimes it just hits the right zeitgeist, I suppose.
And we are shameless self-promoters.
We are shameless self-promoters.
That helps. Yeah. And I think publishers.
People in the book industry, I suppose, but but it's gone beyond that really, because we don't have any connections in Australia at all, and it's still done quite well over there and stuff. So I think there is something.
Yeah.
Well, we've babbled for about half an hour. Are there any other questions? Please feel free. Yes.
Has there been any talk about translating it? Because I was just thinking about how popular the Brokenwood mysteries are.
Yeah. Not that we're aware of. I mean, publishing's quite weird. As the author, once you sign the contract, then your publisher is in charge of everything, and occasionally they will tell you some things, but they generally only tell you if things are successful. They won't tell you if they've tried this and they've tried that and it hasn't been, because I don't know, they don't want to upset you or something. So and to be fair, it's also really early days. It's only been out for a month and a half.
But they took it to the book fair.
No,
Frankfurt.
No, they're taking it.
It's going there.
It's going to Frankfurt Book Fair, but I don't think that's happened yet. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So hopefully.
So we hope that it will go like I would love to see it in the UK really, because
Transworld have got it, but they haven't said yes or no. But
so we're optimistic that it will get picked up elsewhere, but book selling's really weird.
I don't care. It's just been amazing here in Australia.
We have really enjoyed it. Yeah. Any other questions?
It's not really a question, but when you were wondering why the book is successful, I think it's because it's really warm-hearted. I think I read a lot of crime fiction, and I think quite a lot of it's very cynical. And often you laugh at the characters, not with them. And I think that's quite different in your book. Yeah. And I think that plays a part. I don't think it's too cozy, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mind that it's cozy.
It has that line, which is really good, where it still has some grit, but
shit goes
really
down.
warm-hearted. So I think that's a good mixture.
Yeah.
And I think that played a part as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's cool.
Yeah, I think I can't even think why we went down the cozy. Was it a conscious decision, or was it just the way it ended up?
I think just because we're absurd people and we have absurd senses of humour and we see fun in a lot of things, and so naturally the way that we wrote together was funny. Yeah. So and that lends itself to being, what people call cosy, doesn't it?
I guess a lot of it is our personality. We went to booksellers, like we have stupid names for pretty much everything. Like in the book, we refer to Catherine Chidgey as Chidders, which is genuinely
what we actually do call her.
Behind her back, obviously.
I don't think she knows now.
Yeah. And we went to Booksellers Conference, so we were doing icebreakers, and you were doing it, and you're going like, right, so who has funny names for things? We call Alan and Unwin Alan and Underpants. And there's just totally silence, and like, no
Do you
one
remember
else.
that, Mary? Yeah, it was like, I was emceeing. It was like, do you have funny names for authors? Like Chidders, and who else do we have funny names for?
Probably loads of them. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
I know, I've got
Charity Norman, Chazza,
Charity Norman, who was here not long ago, wasn't she? Yeah.
Here in 2 weeks.
Oh, will she?
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
good. Yeah, she's awesome. She's if you haven't been to something with Charity, you need to come and see Charity because she's the most amazing raconteur. She's very funny. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's just our life has gone into that. Lots of the funny instances, just how we live our lives, I suppose. Really.
Yeah. It's weird, eh?
Any other questions? Yes.
After I finished the book, I really missed the characters
Oh.
and their daily life. And
Oh.
I wonder if you're going to write a sequel
Yes.
with those.
Yes.
Who did you like first, and then we'll tell you if we're going to bring them back.
I like you two.
Oh, thank you.
I did wish there was a cat.
A cat.
A cat.
Well, our cat died last year. Unfortunately.
Yeah, our cat died. She was really old, and she had the most amazing life. Yeah, but we brought her out from the UK actually. Her name was Neo. Yeah, Neo from the Matrix, because we thought she was a boy, but she was a girl. But she didn't mind. Yeah.
We will think about writing a cat in for you.
There is another creature in book 2, but we can't say what it is because that would be spoilers.
So basically we got signed with a 2-book deal. So the second book was supposed to be coming out in July next year, but the feedback from Australia was they wanted it earlier because they want it for Mother's Day, and also they want to try and pitch us for festivals in Australia.
Cool,
so they said, could we get it done for April? So all of our writing has shifted up a bit. So tomorrow, in between doing other events, we'll be sat down writing. So we've done the first draft of book 2. We're just going through.
It just makes fart noises.
Making it better. Maybe we can have a book event where I'm sat on a chair. Oh no, because I'm not an author in the book. So we are working on book 2. It should be out possibly April next year, hopefully.
Yeah.
So because you knew there were 2 books, did you write in mind that it was going to cover 2 books?
Eventually we did.
Yeah. Well, in my mind, it's going to be at least 3. So, but
17.
We haven't had that conversation with Penguin yet. But yeah, we deliberately left a few things open in this book so that they would then be picked up, and we had an idea where the plot was going to go. So they are picked up in book 2. So we didn't tie everything up, and there may be sort of stuff that comes back from book 1 that then becomes relevant in book 2. Yeah.
Yes, the nemesis in this book will be back. And I've scared myself stupid, actually, writing a couple of chapters about... Yeah. If you haven't read it yet, there's a character called Pinter that turns up, and he's completely made up. But,
He gets bigger and better.
he's scaring me. Yeah.
Have you had any people in your community ask if they can be represented in the next
Constantly. It's amazing, can you murder me? Can I be the body? Isn't it? That's the top one. Everyone wants to be the victim. It's that's strange. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah. Or can I just have my name in it and stuff? So
Have you granted any of those wishes?
Have we?
Well, not really, but there's a character in the book called the Admiral, and he's sort of based on a real person. So we had when we opened our shop, it was a failing bookshop. We bought it and took it over, and it was not doing particularly well for about 2 years. It took us a long time to build it back up. And there was a guy who's been a loyal customer ever since the first day, and he's ex-military and I'm ex-military, a guy called Jamie Thompson, and he'd come in and say something like, "Stand by your beds," and I'd throw up a salute to him or something like that. And so we've kept this going for years. And so when we were writing the book, I came up with this character of the Admiral, really based on him, and he's absolutely delighted that he's in the book, and he's the inspiration.
He's dining out on it. He lives in one of these real posh retirement villages, and people have come in and said he's down the bar the whole time. Say, do you know? It's so cool, eh?
Richard Osmond, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
the old Cooper's Chase crew.
Yeah. So we have. We have had people I guess asked to be in it and things like that. But
but
most
you've got to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, most of it
because
is fictitious.
what if they don't like what you've written? You know. Yeah. Jamie's chuffed to bits with it. Yeah.
You haven't had any feedback from the mongrel mob or anything?
No.
No.
I was slightly worried about that, but no.
Well, in
I don't.
in the first draft, the one we sent to Penguin, we did reference, I think, the Mongrel Mob and Black Power, and they wanted us to fictionalise it, which is why it became the Black
Make up
Dogs.
gang names,
Yeah.
And also, your chair. The publisher that we had at the time was just can you make up? She was super fixated on funny names for things, wasn't she? So, you know, like make up funny names for the gangs or make up funny names for the books or the publishers or whoever it was. Yeah. I can't even remember what we called the gangs now.
Black Dogs and then
Black Dogs.
Oh yeah, and I think there was one that was like a headhunters, but
yeah.
Sort of
But
like
yeah,
that, yeah,
I don't think they're going to be bothered with small fry like
no.
us. Yeah.
But again, a lot of that was. Yeah, well,
They do. There is a scene in the book where a mongrel mob member, you know, what do we call them?
Black Dogs.
The Black Dogs comes in and buys books for his kid, and that's true. You know, it was a mongrel mob guy, and he would come in. And you know, during COVID, they were amazing. They had they wore masks all the time, and they had gang insignia on their masks, didn't they? They were really nicely kitted out. Yeah.
But there was, you know, some of that was based on the fact that we had this, you know, every Sunday there was this mongrel mob guy who would come in and buy ball books for his kid, and you know, he'd ask advice and we'd give him advice, and he was good as gold. So yeah. I mean, that's not to say they haven't done terrible things, but at least he was buying
books. But
books.
they're in your community and they're part of your community.
At least he was buying books for his kid, you know. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
On that aspect of community, I think as well the character of both of you, well, based off of you, preface this by saying I'm currently a cop in Wellington.
Oh wow, cool.
So I guess I think how you're talking about jobs that you cut for that aren't worth it, and you can get quite cynical about things and quite worn down, and I think just the characters of both of you and just the humanity of them, and how I think it obviously speaks to how you treat people, but how the characters in the books really valued everybody in the community, and I thought that's what spoke to me. And
that's really cool.
You. That's really cool.
You.
Well done on being a cock. It's
It's
not bloody easy.
No, it's not. No.
I think as well, like a lot of books about ex-cops or cops, and they're these like dark, dreary, and you know, they can't relax, and they're always, what's my escape, and just having two cop characters that are the complete opposite of that. They have their, you know, like things that you obviously carry from the job, but also just being good and fun people.
And we didn't want that. You know, virtually every cop book you read, you know, this detective's an alcoholic or split up with his partner or done something horrible, and we didn't want any of that. So like,
the job takes everything.
So like Tammer, the detective inspector, and he's you know, we wanted him not to be one of those characters with huge, terrible issues. We just wanted him to be nice. So I guess we've tried to do that, but also we've also tried, I guess, to in a cosy way, but just get people to understand some of the difficulties of being a copper, really, you know, because I don't think everyone really understands what it's like or what you deal with or you know, how many dead people you get to deal with and things like that.
Yeah. I was actually, my nickname on my first shift was Dr. Death, because every time I turned up for work somebody died, and it was true, like for a fortnight, every single bloody day.
21st birthday.
Yeah, let's not talk about that one, actually, that's really sad.
A couple of things. The first is a comment. I so agree about the word kettle and open plan living.
Excellent, good.
I'm really on your side there.
And that's Gareth, that's not me, obviously.
Oh, of course. And the second thing is, have you ever found a body in a bean? A coffee bean?
No.
No, it was in a concrete coffee bean, wasn't it?
Spoilers.
No, where's the most interesting place I found a body? Ooh. Yeah, some really obvious ones that you get called to because they're already dead, and sometimes they're not all in one piece. But probably the worst ones are where you know there's a dead person in there. You know, we policed in the days where milk was still delivered to your doorstep, and it was they haven't collected the milk or the newspapers, and you would have to go in, and you knew they were there somewhere.
Yeah, it's
not where.
Yeah, it's quite a creepy feeling wandering around a house knowing that you're going to find someone, but you don't quite know where. It's like the worst game of hide and seek ever.
It's always the last room as well.
Yeah,
and you know, you probably don't do it anymore, but back in the day, we'd only just got out when I was in Nottinghamshire Police of calling the police women WPC, like Woman Police Constable. So when I first joined, I was a WPC, and we could choose to wear skirts or trousers, and mostly chose to wear trousers. The one day I wore a skirt, I was up a bloody ladder trying to get into a second story window and never wore a skirt again. Yeah.
We'll take one more question if that's all
yes,
right.
And then you've probably got things to do, you good people. Yeah.
No,
that's all good then.
Oh, cool. Do feel free to come and chat with us. Get us to sign your book that you're going to buy any minute now.
Mary's coming.
Oh, Mary's got to say something.
And buy lots of other books too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got to say thank you very, very much. That was really, really cool. And yes, we will have a sample session. There are books at the front if you want to buy them at the front, or you can buy them at the back. It's entirely up to you. Thank you so much. Let me just get something to give you.
You got a present for me.